building RazorpayX in 45 days is a story actually which all Razors are really proud of even till date. We keep talking about it whenever we are thinking of some audacious goals. Now, Razorpay has actually achieved whatever she has achieved because she always signed up for audacious goals. That's how RazorpayX also was born, right? So the founders and the leadership team had decided that we want to launch this by FTX of 2018. And so that's how a definite timeline got decided, like of 45 days. Now let me kind of tell you in terms of how it got done, right? So number one, there was a very specific, seemingly difficult objective though, with a specific timeline, which was very near, right? Not quarters away, because the moment you like quarters away, it becomes difficult. You lose track. Now what it did is that it within the organization, it created excitement. There was a lot of buzz and curiosity on the floor, became like a hot topic, right? Which helped in various ways, right? So, for example, it helped in terms of resourcing, right? This excitement that got generated helped in aligning resources, right? When we were kind of started to build RazorpayX, there was no team for RazorpayX. We had to borrow people from existing teams, which means that we had to navigate through, talk to those leaders, and ask for help, right? All the excitement that got generated and the buying from leadership actually helped in like getting those resources, the best ones in the org, and create a temporary team for the project. Third thing was that in terms of the initial days were just spent on planning. Now you might just think that 45 days you just want to go execute from day one, right? That was not something that we did. We actually spent the initial days just breaking down the development areas into as many modules as possible, so that we can have multiple small teams working on those modules independently and in parallel, right? And small teams always deliver faster results compared to some big teams, because communication challenge comes in with bigger teams. Now, now, of course, like if you have too many small teams and like too many modules to work in parallel, right? What will happen is there are a lot of handshakes that are required, which could be complex, right? The way we address that is that every team kind of first define their external dependencies and build those specs first. To give an example, backend first define the API that frontend would need, right, to build the UI, so that frontend can independently mock up those API responses and build the UI independent of what is happening on the backend, so that later on when the stitching happens, there is no surprises for frontend. So that was super critical. Number four was what was important is that we could cut down on communication inefficiencies, right? So what we did was created physical war rooms, blocked out meeting rooms for the same. And as the team grew, we actually blocked out the complete floor later on, right? We worked day, night, and including weekends to achieve the goal. So yeah, overall it was a great fun and such a sweet memory for everyone involved. I would say the primary takeaways,